Do soft sports bikes make any sense? Well, today I'm on the brand new for 2024 Suzuki GSX 8R to find out just that. This is going to be my first ride review, so stick around and stay tuned. I'll tell you what I think. Hey kids, it's Mr. Fly here, hope you're well, and welcome back to another bike review here on the channel. On this absolutely glorious sunny spring day, something we've had very few of this year, but it's too good a day not to come out and ride the latest bike that I've got in the stable for test. Now, although this is what I'm calling my first ride review, it is as far as video is concerned, but this bike, I've had it for a couple of days now, and to be honest, it just looks so flipping good. I just want to get out and ride it. So this is about my third ride on the bike, so I have had a little bit of experience on it, but as far as this video is concerned, we'll go through the usual stuff. So the GSX 8R then. It's out this year, 2024 as I say. I did ride last year the GSX-8S, which is a bike that shares an awful lot of commonality with this bike. It's got the same engine, same chassis and frame, pretty much the same everything, except for this bike has got fairings. It's more sports bikey. It's got sports bike like clip-on handlebars and so on. So styling wise it's different, but the sort of guts of it are pretty much the same. Now the GSX-8S, I love that bike much more than I thought I would to ride, but I didn't like the looks. So this one, spoiler alert, already I'm preferring, because I do like the looks of this. So without further ado, let me just show you this bike and show you the styling on it. Okay, so here she is in all this sunshiny glory, and as you can see, a nice looking machine, don't you think? You know, I love the 8S to ride, but I didn't much like the front end of it in particular, but this one has absolutely addressed that, because I think it looks absolutely corking. So let's start at the front end, and something that maybe splits opinion: the lights, stacked projector type headlights. What I quite like about this, although I'm not necessarily a fan of this style of lighting, is the fact that when you turn the lights on, if I just put the ignition on, okay, you only get one light, and the running light above it, but they don't look odd because they're stacked symmetrically like that. It's not like they're side by side and only one light would come on, so I don't mind that on this bike, whereas on some others I don't like the fact that only one light comes on. Anyway, going down the bike then, because they've done an interesting thing with the fuel tank on here. I like the shape of it. It's nice and angular, and they've split the colour so that the back, regardless of what colour bike you buy, the back of the tank is always black. Not sure if that's a good thing or not. I think it might look better if it was all blue, don't know. And then another thing I like, on the engine, look, they picked out the Suzuki logo in white. I don't think I saw that on the 8S, I might be wrong. But it's just something that adds a bit of class to it. And they're coming back down towards the back end. Has got this little end can, little stubby bit, bolted on the catalytic converter. That sounds great, looks alright as well. Could do with the tail tidy. The light is right out on the end of that hideous bit of plastic. Look, I think it would look better if it had a rear light tucked under there, but that's just a personal thing. I do like the wheels on this, by the way. On this particular bike, they are this matte grey, as you can see. If I come around and show you from the sunny side, I don't know if you can see the styling of those. They're quite thin. I just quite like the way they've sort of put those spokey bits on a slant. But yeah, anyway, overall, I think it's a good looking bike. Maybe not quite as good looking as the Yamaha R7 I rode last year, but it's certainly better than the 8S, and yeah, I think it's a cracker. Okay, welcome back aboard the GSX 8R. Bit of a tongue twister that. Quite a few of these bikes now on the market, things like the Yamaha R7 that I rode last year, enjoyed riding that. The Aprilia RS 660, of course, I've not ridden that one. And of course Triumph have got their Daytona 660 now, which is actually a triple, but it's kind of in the same category and in the same price band as this bike. And it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it, for manufacturers to, you know, develop these new twin cylinder engines that were kind of poo-pooed by sports bike aficionados as not proper sports bikes in the old sense of the super sports that we used to get 15-20 years ago, which typically were four-cylinder screamers. But these bikes, I think it makes absolute sense, because these, number one, are priced really well. This bike comes in at something like $8,895. We'll go through all the details in the specs a bit later. But as a road bike, it makes an awful lot of sense. And if a manufacturer's going to spend all that time, you know, developing a bike, or developing an engine rather, it makes a lot of sense for them to use them in different sorts of platforms. So Suzuki have done that with this engine. They've got it in the 8S, as I say, and I really enjoyed it there, and now they've got it in the 8R. Alright, so how does the 8R compare then with some of those other bikes? Well, from a comfort point of view, it's really nice actually. You're lent more forward than you are on the 8S, as you'd expect. There's a little bit of weight over your wrists, which helps it with turning actually. And the handlebars on here are these sort of pseudo sporty clip-ons, but they're not clip-ons as on the forks, they're above the forks, and they're absolutely not you know, proper sports bike clip-ons. Even the R7 in fact did have what I would call proper clip-ons and was more uncomfortable than this, although I found that bike quite comfortable compared to other sports bikes. But this, really comfy. I mean, I am sitting upright, my legs are tucked in a bit of a sporty position, and I'm slightly canted forward, but I'm no more canted forward than I would be on, say, a street triple. There's just enough weight on your wrists, as I say, to make the turning a bit more sharper. The handlebars are absolutely fine. Do not be put off by the fact that they are these sort of pseudo clip-ons. I've got dodgy shoulders and I could ride this all day. In fact, I did yesterday pretty much. Bother, there's a car going down the road that I want to try my handling test out on. Oh well, we'll give it a go anyway. Gosh, these potholes here, and avoid those. One of the great things about this bike is it comes with a quick shifter as standard. And for a bike at this price, I think that's quite amazing. Sadly caught up with the Suzuki. We'll have a chance to overtake him in a minute. Feels lovely and light and flickable, this bike though. For a bike that's got relatively low horsepower, something like 81 brake horsepower, feels a lot faster than it should do. And that's where again this engine comes in, because they've tuned this twin to give you good low and mid range, and that's exactly what you want for an on the road bike, isn't it? Anyway, where were we? Comfort, yeah. Seat on it, quite hard actually. After an hour you do want to get off, but you know, when I'm riding any bike pretty much I want to get off after an hour anyway. But in terms of its size and its positioning, it's perfectly comfortable. Right, now's my chance to get past the Suzuki. Nothing behind us. Let's go. Wow. Now I was quickly up to silly speeds there. This twin engine is really sweet. It's you know, as I was saying, those sports bikes aficionados kind of poo-pooed this new tranche of so-called soft sports bikes because they do tend to be twin cylinder powered, but they're no less fun for it, I tell you. You absolutely don't need more go on the road than this. You can get yourself into trouble in no time at all if you want to. It really is a lovely thing to ride this. It's got loads of grunt, loads of tractable power. Really like it. Right, let's just try the brakes. Yeah, nice. Brakes are good on here. Nice feel to them. They're not grabby at all, they're not sort of on and off. Let's just try it again. Yeah, not too much fork dive either, which I like. Really, really nice. What a beautiful day to be out on a bike, eh? Confidence in the corners on this is brilliant. Woohoo! Fabulous. Right, I'm going to enjoy the bike some more. Let me talk you through the specs. Okay, let's talk numbers then on the bike, starting with that peach of an engine. Here she is, 776cc parallel twin, putting out 81 brake horsepower and 57.5 foot-pounds of torque, which is exactly the same as the engine on the GSX 8S, and as I say, tuned for low and mid-range torque, just where you need it. Brakes on the front of this puppy, dual 310mm discs with 4-pot Nissin calipers. At the rear, 240mm disc with a single pot Nissin, again exactly the same as the 8S. The suspension on the front is actually different from the 8S. This one has Showa separate function forks, big piston. They're upside down as well, as you can see, but they are non-adjustable. And the suspension at the rear is this single shock, and that's just adjustable for preload if you can get your hand in there. Seat height on the bike is a nice and manageable 810mm, nice and narrow waisted as well, so you can get your feet easily on the deck. Weight of the bike comes in at 205 kilograms, which is only 3 kilograms more than the 8S, so we can assume that those fairings weigh 3 kilograms, which seems very light, doesn't it? Tank capacity on the bike is 14 litres. Right, let's turn this on, hopefully you can see that TFT, and let's talk electronics on the bike. So it's got this 5-inch TFT, it comes with the bi-directional quick shifter, as I said. It's got ABS, of course, 3 power modes, traction control, 3 levels of that plus off. It's got that Suzuki One Touch Easy Start thing and the anti-stall tech, which I quite like. And it doesn't actually have things like keyless, which is great, or indeed does it have connectivity, which is all fine with me. The price on the road of this splendid looking bike is $8,899 here in the UK. I think that is excellent value for such a beautiful looking machine. And then I guess the only other thing to tell you is that colour wise it comes in this blue, which I think looks possibly the best. It comes in the silver, which has some tasty red wheels, or black one. And the other thing is, if you've got an A2 licence, it is possible to restrict it, so it's legal to ride for you too. Alright, welcome back aboard then. So it's good and it's nice and comfortable, it goes well, it steers well, it stops well. The suspension is just nice actually. It's not adjustable as I said, but it is it's set just right for me. My weight, I'm about 74 kilograms at the moment, and it's not too hard, it's not too soft, it's just right for me. I wouldn't need to adjust that anyway. In terms of what we're looking at here, it's all nice and simple. It's got exactly the same TFT as the 8S had. Got everything you need to know on it. Initially I thought it was a little bit Mickey Mouse actually. The fonts and stuff on it I'm not too keen on. It's not as plain as, say, in fact the Yamaha R7, or of course the what I think are the best TFTs in the business, the BMW. But having ridden this for the last couple of days, I've actually come to appreciate that TFT. The only thing I don't like about it is the rev counter. As you can see, it's got this dark blue bit here that goes up round the side to indicate what revs you're doing. I'd far rather that was a needle, but other than that it's a small point. Otherwise the TFT is fine. It's nice and simple, this bike. There's not too many electronics to catch you out, you know. It's got the riding modes, or SDMS as Suzuki call it, and traction control, which you can adjust or turn off indeed, and that's about it. You don't really need more than that, do you? So you're not distracted when you're riding this bike by loads of unnecessary electronics. It's just good clean fun as far as I'm concerned, and at the end of the day that's the most important thing about a motorcycle, isn't it? Is it fun to ride and how does it make you feel? And this one just makes you feel darn good. Alright, let's come and do me lugging about test, shall I? Let's pop into the local station car park, see what this bike is like, lifting it up off the side stand, simulating what it's like moving around in your garage, and also seeing what the turning circle is like compared to other bikes. I'm not anticipating any issues with this particular machine. The clutch, by the way, on this, if you're not using the quick shifter, is lovely and light. Forgot to mention that. Right, let's come into this space here then. My favourite parking space, I seem to remember. Is it sad that I've got one of those? Let's get the stand down nice and easy. Kill the indicator because that'll annoy. Right, and turn the bike off. So there we go, no grab handle at the back for your passenger to grab hold of if you're going to take a passenger on it, or indeed for you to get hold of when you're moving the bike. Getting her off the side stand, yeah, pretty easy. Not a lot of heft here to this bike, nice and light. And then bringing it around full lock. It doesn't feel like full lock is that good actually. Feels like we're doing relatively wide turn. Let's just pop her there. So that was middle of that space there to the outer edge of that one, which, as this test goes, is a relatively wide turning circle. Not unusual. I've had plenty of bikes that turn similar kind of turning circle, but as is often the case with bikes with fairings like this, the turning circle isn't that great. The good news is it's nice and light to get off the stand, easy to live with, easy to move around, even if you're a weakling like me. No problem shifting this bike about. So as I mentioned before, I rode the R7 a few months back. Really liked that. That one felt a little bit more like, in quotes, a proper sports bike, mainly because of its riding position. But I think, you know, this Suzuki would probably be easier to live with. And it looks almost as nice as the R7. Almost. It definitely looks better than the GSX 8S. This is an attractive looking machine, I think. And actually, it would make a great all-rounder if it was your first big bike, or you only had one bike and you want to do everything on it. This would be perfectly able to commute, take you to work, take you on tour in the summer, and go out for a weekend blast. The only thing it wouldn't be so good about is carrying luggage, I guess. But there's got to be some compromises somewhere. Okay, what's the 8R like on faster roads then? Well, here I am on a dual carriageway. Look, I'm doing around about 70 miles an hour. Just checking what the wind blast is like. It's got this little screen on here. It's not adjustable as far as I can tell, and it's not that effective actually. I mean, quite a bit of wind blast. The good news is it's clean air though. It's not dirty turbulent type. So actually at faster speed she's alright. The lower fairing does quite a good job of keeping the wind off your legs and lower half of your body as well. So I tip my hat to Suzuki. I think they've done a really nice job on this. Anything I don't like about the bike? You know, not really that I can think of. Things like the mirrors work really well. It's for a sports bike, a comfortable riding position. It looks good, goes well, stops well, sounds nice. Price is right. It's simple to operate. No downsides that I can find so far in the short time that I've been riding it. Quick shifter's nice, although it's better up the box than down the box. As you come down, it's a little bit reluctant to change gear. You have to give it a fair hefty kick. A little bit clunky on the downshifts, but again, a bike at this price, to have a quick shifter up and down as standard, effectively a blipper, you can't complain about that, can you? Yeah, really nice bit of kit. Right, just as I'm coming into town here, I'm just going to slow right down and see what she's like at slower speeds. Just to check out what the fueling's like. Some of these modern bikes can be a bit jerky because of Euro 5 strangulation. So there's nothing behind me. Here I am, second gear, look, 20 miles an hour. Nothing jerky about that at all. Smooth as you like. Yeah, slow speed. She's completely happy, look. Lovely. Well, what a glorious bike to enjoy a bike ride. That's what I'm going to do. That's it for my first ride review on the Suzuki. That's it for my first ride review on the Suzuki GSX-8R. Hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, do consider hitting that subscribe button. It'd be great to have you along on the next video. Until then, this has been the Missenden Flyer. Cheerio.
Hey kids, we're the Missenden Flyers.